Ron, welcome. How are you?
How you doing, Mike? I'm standing right on Dodger Field, so it's a pretty nice feeling.
It is. And were you a believer, too, that it was the best mound in the league when you were pitching? Most pitchers would always tell you it was their favorite mound. Is your favorite mound, too?
Well, there was two things that made it my favorite. Is that it always felt like it was higher,
right.
The mound. And the other thing is they used to have this aluminum siding in the bullpen, and when you threw, it would echo throughout the whole stadium, so you felt like you were throwing 105 miles an hour, even though you weren't.
Do you think it was urban legend that the Dodger mound was a lot higher, or was it really higher?
I always felt that it was definitely higher. I mean, I always threw 2-3 miles an hour quicker in the Dodger Stadium. You just felt it. I don't know. Maybe it's because of all the ghosts of the great pitchers that pitched there.
All right. You know, the Cardinals story is an amazing one, Ron, when you realize, I mean, teams have to look at this and say, how do they do it? How do you have all these youngsters, rookies, on a staff and have them pitching this well? Plus, La Russa, Dave Duncan, I mean, maybe they left the tablets there, but they're gone, and this continues. So, I mean, it's hard to know what's going on, but they continue to produce these great arms.
It's just honestly eerie, isn't it, that the way they develop their players. I mean, they've got 5 players in the 2009 draft on the pitching staff. Every guy they bring in seems like he throws 98 miles an hour or faster. It's just, one of the things they do, and I talked to Derek Lilliquist about this, who's the pitching coach for the Cardinals. One of the things they do very, very well is that all of their pitchers, when you watch them come in, they all have a secondary pitch they throw for a strike. Watch a young kid Martinez. He looks like Pedro Martinez with his slider. Everyone that comes in, whether it's Joe Kelly, Waka, they all have developed their secondary pitches, and that's not the case with all staff in baseball.
How about Waka? I mean, Waka's been sensational down the stretch.
Waka is so phenomenal. When you watch him pitch, and I saw him in spring training, he threw 4 no-hit innings against the Mets. I remember doing the game. I said, what? Where's this kid from? And he's just gotten better and better. But they do things that are a little unorthodox. They sent him down. He was pitching fine out of the bullpen. They sent him down to work on his curveball. 2 things happened. 1, he worked on his curveball. 2, he didn't have many innings down in the minor league, so he had innings left for the postseason. So it's those little things that the Cardinals do a little better than some organizations.
Let's be honest. They've become the model franchise in baseball. I mean, they have supplanted, and the Yankees did it with boldness and money, but they have become the best organization in all of baseball. It's not even close.
Well, 17 of the 25 players on the roster in postseason were drafted or signed by the Cardinals. So it just tells you that, for a smaller market team now. The Dodgers have, a $225 million payroll. The Cardinals have a $103 million payroll. To keep their payroll where they have it, they got to make tough decisions, and they try to do it within. Remember, this is an organization that decided not to re-sign Albert Pujols. That would be the equivalent of the Yankees maybe saying, we're not going to sign Cano. I mean, it's a really bold step to do something like that and not miss a
and it works out. And they made a great quiet signing by signing Beltran. I mean, people, let's be honest, New York, the Met fans, they used to knock Beltran. Beltran has become a hero in St. Louis.
Well, I guess for whatever reason, and he had some great years in New York, Met fans can't get past the curveball that he took from
Right, and this is only one of the great postseason hitters of all time who had hit 3 home runs in that series.
Yeah, he was one of the major reasons they got to Game 7. But it's very interesting, the perception. Now, for all of us in baseball and everyone that follows the Cardinals, you just know that he can't be Mr. October because there's always one, but maybe they can call him Mr. Playoff.
All right, couple of things. First thing, Ron, is why do you think the Dodgers left the lefties off the postseason roster? That puzzled me. Why would they do that?
Yeah, I thought that was a mistake, to tell you the truth. And I'll tell you the biggest reason why I thought it was a mistake is that Carlos Beltran in the postseason hits 385 from the left side. He hits 195 from the right side. So that was the biggest reason, I think, to be able to always turn Carlos around if he had a big at-bat or a big opportunity for the Cardinals. So I always thought it was a mistake. Now, granted, Paco Rodriguez pitched a lot of games, a lot of innings this year, and he looked like he was done in the last series against Atlanta. But I think Capuano, with all his veteran time, would have been a nice choice to keep on the roster.
All right. Clearly, the Dodgers aren't hitting. Do you kind of sense, Puig's clearly in a little deep now for the first time. Ramirez might be hurt. You got a lot. Dodgers aren't hitting. They're clearly pressing, and they're going to have to press against the guy who's probably got as good a 12-6 curveball, at least from the right side. I mean, I know they have Kershaw in the building, so he's probably. But other than Kershaw, he's probably got the best curveball in baseball. Very tough guy to hit against. And now the Dodgers have got to find some offense, somehow find some offense tonight again, if they want to stay in the series.
Well, I totally agree. I think what they have in the lineup now, if we don't know if Hanley's going to play, we don't know if Ethier's going to play. If those guys don't play, what you have in the lineup, Mike, is a lot of guys who are all-or-nothing kind of hitters. Puig, Uribe, guys like that are kind of swinging from their heels and hoping to hit one 550 feet. And sometimes you need in the postseason those guys that grind out at bat, a single here, a sacrifice there, a hit and run here or there. And they don't have a lot of those guys in their lineup. So I think it's imperative that, Hanley and Ethier have to play every game.